Hi everyone, are you ready to start programming? So shall we start? Okay, so let's come and see what's the first question that we're going to do under string manipulation chapter. It says, write a program to read a string from the user and to count the number of alphabets, digits, and special characters. Okay, so let's write our basic line of how do I read a string from the user. I'm using a string variable s. And how do we read a string from the user? We make use of the input function and I'm asking the user, enter the string. Now remember, when I ask the user enter the string, it could be a word, it could be few words, a line, a sentence, a paragraph, whatever. Is that clear? So it's up to the user. So I'm asking him enter a string, and after he enters a string, I need to look at the string and find out in the string how many alphabets. So we're going to make use of his alpha function. How many digits? So I'm going to make use of his digit function. How many special characters? So I'm going to make use of is special function. Sorry, there is no function called is special. What is not an alphabet and what is not a digit will automatically be a special character. So remember, there is no function called is special. Is that clear? Okay, now I've got the entire string in the variable s. I'm not going to look at the entire string at one go. I want to look through each and every character of the string. So you remember in the previous chapter we had learned how to, previous topic or previous video, we had learned how to traverse through the string using a for loop. I'm going to do the same thing here. I write for x in s. Just to remind all of you what this for x in s would mean. If s is a string with 10 characters, 20 characters, or how many ever characters, what does for x in s do? Every time you start the loop, x picks up one character of the string, starting from the first character, gets into the loop. When it comes back, takes the next character, and so on, as long as it takes all the characters of the string. Okay, so now what is x going to have in the loop? Let's say the first character of the string. Currently, okay? First time it gets into the loop, obviously the first character of the string. Now I want to check whether it's an alphabet or a digit. So how do I do that? I write if x dot, you remember the string dot and the name of the function is alpha. So if x is an alpha, sorry, please, A-L-P-H-A. Okay, is alpha, I'm going to keep a track of the count, right? So I'm just going to use a variable called A. A is equal to A plus 1. So A is just a counter variable which will keep track of all the alphabets. Okay, similarly, if it is a digit, so how do I write? Elif x dot is digit. Then I'm going to keep a track of all the digits. So I write D is equal to D plus 1. Otherwise, I said if it's not an alphabet and if it's not a digit, then automatically it means it's a special character. So I write S is equal to S plus 1. Okay. Now, whenever we said sum is equal to sum plus or count is equal to count plus, didn't we initialize these variables to 0? So I need to do that for all variables A, D, and S. So how do I do it? I write A is equal to D is equal to S is equal to 0. So all these variables initially are 0. And I have done the counting. And remember, first time it took the first character, next time it takes the next character, and it goes on till it finishes the end of the string or till it comes to the end of the string. And finally, I want to display. So I say print. And if you want to give proper messages, number of alphabets. Where are the number of alphabets stored? In A. Similarly, I want to write number of digits. So I'm just pasting it. Instead of alphabets, I replace it with number of digits. And where are the number of digits stored? In variable D, correct. And I want to write the number of special characters. So number of special characters And where are the special characters stored? In a variable called S. Is that clear? Can we just execute the program and see whether it's working according to our requirement? Okay. So it says enter a string. So I'm just entering some strings, okay? Okay. It says number of alphabets are 7. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7. So correct. Number of digits, it says 3. Yes, we have 1, 2, 3 here. Number of special characters, it says 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now remember, if the string had a space also, it would calculate it as a special character, because you said if it's not an alphabet and if it's not a digit, it's a special character. But in case the question says that do not consider space as a special character, then what modification you could do in your program is you could write elif x dot, which is a function that checks whether it's a space, is space. Okay, but do you want to check whether it's a space? No. So I will write elif not x dot is space. That means it's not a space. Let me just run this program and show it to you. Okay, elif, I have to put the colon. So let's just run the program. Okay, now I'm just going to enter something, and we are sure that the alphabet digit is going to be counted correctly. Can you see it says number of special characters only 2 for these two and not for the space? Is because I wrote this line. That means if it's not an alphabet and if it's not a digit and it is not a space, then take it as a special character. So remember, this will depend on the question. You could take a space as a special character, then you don't write this part. You just write else. But you don't want a space to be treated as a special character, then you could add. And remember, I've written the not operator. What does the not do? It does the opposite. A space is checking whether it is a space. Not of a space will mean whether it's not a space. Clear? Okay, let's go to another program, but I would have to read the string always everywhere. So let me just copy this line. Okay, let me just take you to the next program. It says, write a program to read a string from the user and to count the number of times the appears in the string. Okay, so let me just read the string from the user. Okay, you remember the function called count? What does the count function do? It searches how many times a substring appears in a string. So I'm going to be making use of that function. So I write C is equal to, and I want to call the count function. How do you call the count function? The variable, that string variable, dot count, in bracket. What are you searching for? I am searching for the. And if you remember, it had 2 more parameters, where to start searching and where to end searching. Here, I want to start searching from the beginning and I want to end searching at the end. So I'm not specifying the start and end because by default, it's going to be that. Okay. And I display the answer. So the answer is where in C. So the number of times the, okay, I need to give single quotes here because we've already started the string with double quotes. The number of times the appears is, okay, and where am I counting it? I mean, where is the count function going to store the answer? In a variable called C. Is that clear? Now I'll show you something interesting here. Let me just run the program. Okay, suppose my string is, these are the brothers of, let's say, Anne. Okay, these are the brothers of Anne. The number of times the appears in the string is 2 times. Yes. Why is it saying 2 times? Now you might say the came only once, but no, it's checking this THE and it's checking this THE. You remember me telling you when you talk about substring, it's just talking about THE, not THE as a word. Then another question is, ma'am, why didn't it check this THE? Because this THE has a capital T, correct? And we have written count the number of times THE appears in small letters. Suppose you wanted to check THE in any form. You know what you could do is you could write S dot upper, or no, in this case, let me write lower. dot count. So what does it do? It takes the string, converts all the characters to lowercase. Remember, not the original string is not converted. It's just taking the contents of the string and changing it to lowercase currently, and then counting how many times the appears. Now, if I run this program with the same string, it will tell me number of times is 3. Just let's check. Okay, can I just cut it on? Let me see what it's letting me. Okay. These are the brothers of Anne. Okay. Now it says it appears 3 times. Why? Because the THRE, where T was capital, is also going to be made lower because of that lower function. And then the counting appears. But again, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking at the number of times the as a word appears in the string. Okay, not THE as anywhere. Now remember, sometimes in the question paper, they'll tell you the appears and they'll give you an example saying, don't consider the in these and there and brother and sis, mother and all that, just the word the. Then what should you do? Now just see what I'm doing here. I am leaving a space before the, I discussed this when I did the count function with you all. I am leaving a space before it and I'm leaving a space after it, which means now what am I searching for? Space THE space, which would mean definitely I'm checking for a word the. Okay, let's rerun the program. Let me still put the same thing. These are the brothers of Anne. Now, how many times do you think it'll say the appears? Only once. Can you see? So just manipulate on your count functions parameter, whether you're looking for the in any form, THE, the I couldn't say in that scenario, THE in any form, or are you looking for a word which is the. Clear? So I hope this is clear. Now, some may ask, what if the never appeared in the string? Okay, I'll just show you. And sat here. Can you see the count is saying 0? So is it clear? So I hope counting of now any word should be easy for you. Sometimes they'll ask you to count the number of all articles. That is an, and the. Same concept you're going to do. You could count it separately, or you could count it, all as one. It all depends on the question. Clear? Okay. Okay, let's read this program. Write a program to read a string from the user and to count the words beginning with A and ending with E. Okay, so I am just going to be, reading the string from the user. After reading from the string from the user, I'm not interested in looking at each character of the string. I'm interested in looking at each word of the string. Did we learn a function when we learned the methods of the string class, that there is a function called split? What does the function called split do? It divides the string into words if you don't specify the separator. Otherwise, divides according to your requirement. So I am going to be splitting that string. So I write ST is equal to, let me put it, ST is equal to S dot split. So the string that was stored in S is now going to be split word by word because you did not specify the separator. So the separator automatically becomes the space. Okay. Then what do I want to do? Remember, now what is ST? You remember ST is going to be a list. Now to understand that, let me just give you an example. Suppose your S is, suppose the string S has this string. Anne ate an apple. A-P-P-L-E. Okay. What would ST be? ST would become a list, and each element of the list would be one word of your string. So, ate and apple. So it's going to be like this. Okay. And remember, like the strings have index numbers 0, 1, and 2, these two also have, list also has index numbering. This is at index number 0, this is at index number 1, this is at index number 2, and this is at index number 3. So the entire word is at index number 0, not like the string where each character is at index number. It also has the, the backward indexing, which is this is -1, this is -2, this is -3, this is -4, okay? But that's not important for us here. I'm just telling you that like strings have forward and backward indexing, lists also have forward and backward indexing. But that's not really required here for us because you're going to see what I'm going to do. So what do? I write for x in st. Now what happens in this scenario? When you say for x in st, x picks up one element of the list. When you say one element of the list, it's not just the a of an. The first element of the list is an itself. So x is going to get that entire word into the variable x. Then I want to check. Now x itself is a string, a small string. Now currently it has an. I want to check if that and begins with a. How do I write? If x of 0, because the first element of a word is always going to be at which location? 0. In capital A or small a. What does this mean? Now, why do I write this? That means the x of 0 element could be a capital A or a small a. Is it in? In operator, what does it do? It gives me a true when it is A or E, or it gives me a false. Similarly, at the same time, and at the same time, the last element in the string. Where is the last element in the string stored? At index number -1? Correct. So is equal, in. Again, what are the in values I'm checking for? A capital E, or a small e. Okay. So now pay attention. What does your variable x initially get? X initially gets just Annie. Okay. Now Annie, what index does it have? 0, 1, 2, and 3. So x just picked up the first element of the list, which was Annie. X gets Annie, but now x is not a list, x is a string. So where is the first element? At location 0. Okay, where is the last element? At 3, or can I say also at -1? Because there is negative index, backward indexing also. And that's exactly what I've checked here. If x of 0 in AE, that means it's either A or E, and x of -1 is E or E, then in that scenario, I want to do some counting, right? So I write, let's say, C is equal to C plus 1. And what should I do to the variable C? Initialize it to 0. So what will happen in this case? X will take each word from the list, check if that word begins with 0. If the word begins with A and the word ends with E. Okay, and finally, you print the value of C. I'm not giving elaborate, string messages. I'm just saying print C. So let's just run this program. Okay, I'm going to put the same string, Annie, 8, and apple. Okay, how many times do you see words beginning with A and ending with E? 3 times. So let's just see. And what is our count function saying? Count function is saying it is only appearing once. Why is it saying so? You see, instead of writing A, I wrote AE, so small letter A. So let's just run the program once again. So you have Annie, 8, and apple. Okay, how many words do you see with beginning with A and ending with E? 3. So the answer here is 3. Remember, I did not give any, print the number of words, no messages. I just said print C. So I got this answer. Clear? Okay, so let's just clear my annotations and take you to the next question. Now this question says, write a program to read a string from the user and to convert uppercase characters to lowercase, lowercase characters to uppercase, digits to asterisk sign, and special characters to 0. So anyway, I have to read a string. Now, do I need to look at the string word by word? No, I need to look at the string at one character at a time. So I'm using my regular for loop for x in S. Okay, so that means x is going to get each and every character of the string. Okay, what do I want to do? Check if it's uppercase. How do I check? If x dot is upper. Okay, if it's upper, what do I want to do with that x variable? I want to convert it to lowercase. So x dot lower. But remember, I cannot manipulate the original string, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a new string, I call it ns. So I write ns is equal to ns plus x dot lower. Now I'll tell you why I'm doing this. When I'm going to do the conversion, I can't do the conversion in the original string, right? Because the original string is immutable. So what do? I introduce another variable called ns, which is initially an empty string, okay? Ns, which is initially an new string, okay? Ns stands for new string, which is initially an empty string. And every time I do a conversion, I'm going on, what does a plus operator do? We learned with strings, concatenate. I'm going to keep on adding that character to the variable called ns. So s remains as it is. You just look at the characters of s, check whether it's upper, convert, but the converted value, you're not putting it into s, but you're putting it into ns. Is that clear? Okay, so if it's upper, I need to do this. Let me just, if it's lower, so that means how do I write that elif, okay, elif x dot, instead of is upper, what will I write? Is lower. If it's lower, what do you want to do? Convert it to upper. Fine. So upper convert to lower, lower convert to upper. If it's a digit, so how do I check that? Elif x dot is digit. If it's digit, what do I want to add into ns? What do I want to add into ns? I write ns is equal to, okay, instead of a colon, okay, ns is equal to ns plus. That means whatever you have still gathered in ns plus, what should the digit go to? It's asterisk sign. So I'm just going to concatenate an asterisk sign with ns. Else, what does else mean? If it's not upper, if it's not lower, if it's not digit, it means it's a special character. Then what do I do to ns? I think there's some issue with my indentation. Let me just check with the indentation so I don't, get errors while running the program. Yes. Okay, so now it's indented correctly. And then I write ns is equal to ns plus. Now what are you supposed to concatenate if it's a special character? To 0. So I just write 0 there. Okay, and my conversion is done. Now remember, the conversion is not done in the new variable, but it's done in a variable called ns. So ns initially has nothing. As and when you do the conversion, you are concatenating that character to ns. So ns keeps growing as you do the conversion. And finally, I just say print ns. Okay, I'm not giving the new string, or let me just do that. The new string is, okay, and let me just give the variable ns. Clear? So let's just run the program. It's asking me for a string. I'm just randomly going to write some things. Okay. So can you see some? Okay, now can you see small letter converted to capital? Yes. Small converted to capital? Yes. Come to special characters. These special characters converted to 0? Yes. Come to digits. The digits converted to asterisk sign? Yes. Come to capital letters converted to small letter? Yes. Digit to asterisk sign? Yes. And ampersand to special characters to 0. Is that clear? So if you have understood all these 4 programs that we have done today, I mean, you should not have any doubt, or it should be easy for you to do any other program. Practice more questions, okay? And you will see that it's very easy. You just have to remember all those functions. And once you start using it in your programs, there's nothing called remembering. It's going to be there in memory, okay? So just chill and try out more questions, do more practice questions, and you'll be fine. Is that clear? Okay, thank you.